welcome to the Lather & Co. kitchen. We're doing something a little bit different today. We're really excited. A lot of you have tons of questions about soap making. Jules and I get asked every weekend, how do you make the soap? What do you pour it into? How do you color it? So we had the idea that it might be fun to do a little soap making demo. So this is our first time doing this, so bear with me as we iron out the kinks today, but we are actually making a custom soap for our friend Allie, who is the owner of Salt. She sells a bunch of Lather & Co. goodies, Salt Halo Therapy Spa on Easter Lily Lane in Vero Beach. So yeah, we're gonna make her soap today, so this should be fun. I'm gonna kind of tell you what we have. Let's see, so we are gonna start with our oils. We are a vegan company. We do plant-based oils and we do the cold process method of soap making. So the cold process method is what I like to think of as like classic soap making. Basically, it's three main ingredients. You use fats, lye, and liquid. Our fats we choose to use are plant-based oils. 90% of them are organic. We have those here. We've divided them into hard oils, and then we have our liquid oils. In the liquid oils, we have organic olive oil, and we have castor oil. And then in our bucket here, we have organic coconut oil and organic sustainable palm oil. We choose our oils with intention. The oils that we use produce nice, hard bars of soap that last a long time and have a good lather. All of the oils that we use offer different properties to the soap, so it's kind of scientific. We're not scientists, but we have fun researching and we've done a lot of trial and error. So coconut oil adds a lot of bubbles to your soap. It makes it a nice hard bar. The palm oil also adds hardness to the soap, makes it really long lasting. Olive oil is a really moisturizing oil, so you definitely want to have that in there. It doesn't add much bubbles or lather or anything, but it does add nice creaminess. And then the castor oil, 10% castor oil just adds a little bit more bubbles to it as well. So we have our oils over here for Allie's soap, which is her signature scent. It is called Salt. We put organic coconut milk. It's powdered. And then we also have Kalon clay here. Kalon clay is a very gentle clay. It just adds gentle cleansing properties to the bar. And that's really all that we're gonna put into it. Our soaps are natural, simple, good for you. So let's see, where shall we start? Let's see, we have our liquid oils here. So what we're gonna do first, let me get ready. We have our lye water, which, let's see. So we've had our lye mixture here. It's really just lye and water. It's been cooling for about an hour.
And what is lye exactly? It's
sodium hydroxide. Basically, this is part of the scientific process that I probably won't do a great job explaining. But when you add the lye to your oils, it goes through a scientific process called saponification. And that is what, over the course of 24 hours, everything's gonna become hardened, put together, and it turns it into soap. It neutralizes the lye with the oils and becomes gentle, creamy, and it's an essential ingredient to soap making.
Hence the safety goggles.
Yes, and you really can't make soap without lye. It's definitely important. There is other methods of soap making. We do the cold process method, but you can do melt and pour, glycerin soaps. If you just want to kind of play around, they sell kits at Michael's where you can kind of grate down a pre-made bar of soap, and then you don't have to mess with the lye. You grate them down and add your ingredients and heat them, but we prefer the classic method. We do it all from scratch. So let's see, we're gonna get started. We have our liquid oils here. We're gonna add our additives to here. So we're gonna add the Kalon clay, and we're gonna add our organic coconut milk. And we'll give this a little mix. Okay, that looks pretty well incorporated. So next, we are going to add our cooled lye water mixture to our hard oils.
Now, what's the importance of the temperature?
Well, we do it at about 140 degrees because this heat is going to gently melt these oils. This is called the room temperature method, and it honestly changed my life once I learned I could make soap this way. I used to have to heat all the oils and melt them, and it was a lot of work, a lot of dishes. So this just makes a lot more sense for me. It takes a little while, the mixing. We'll probably be doing this for about 10 minutes. You kind of just want to gently stir it. You don't want to splash out any of the lye. And you just want to get all these lumps out so it's nice and smooth. So. Okay, I'd say that's probably pretty good for now. Most of the lumps have melted, and it will continue to melt a little as we go, and we're gonna stick blend it a couple more times so it'll kind of get rid of the extra pieces floating around here. So let's see, we'll bring this over here. So for Allie's signature soap, basically it's going to be poured in 2 different layers, and this is the color that we're using. It's this beautiful blue color, swirled with white. It has some gold sprinkles. We do a little mica line in the center, and then the top is going to get dusted with this Maya Gold mica powder.
Oh, side note on that, we like to always try to find as many vegan and cruelty-free items as we can. So that's very exciting. It's very important to Allie too.
Yes.
She's a fellow vegan.
Definitely. And then for her soap, this is our mold. This is actually, she's only gonna get 1/2 of this mold. This is a custom mold my dad made for me. But this can make 2 20-bar sections or 40 bars total. So for Allie today, we're making her 20 bars. The scent we're using is a nice, fresh, rainy, salty scent. Has notes of ozone, jasmine. It's really fresh, clean. It really suits her spa. So let's see. So moving on, we are going to add our liquid oils with our additives into our melted hard oils. Get all that out of there. So as you're about to see, once you've added the lye to your oils and you start mixing with the stick blender, the process starts to happen very quick. So soap making is never perfect. You never know what you're gonna get on the inside. You kind of gotta think on your toes and move quickly because it starts to thicken and harden in front of your eyes. And if you wait too long, the oils are gonna get so hard that you can't stir them properly or layer them, or, you know, we have lots of design ideas. So you really gotta keep those ideas in mind when you're making them, and make sure you have enough time to actually fulfill your ideas. So you'll see what I'm talking about shortly once we get this mixed well.
And all of the scents and essential oils and all of those things are very different as far as how quickly they can make the oils harden. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it can be, you know, a couple of minutes, sometimes it can be longer, but it really just depends on the chemical compounds and how they react with the oils and lye.
Yes, definitely a lot of trial and error. A lot of floral fragrances, for example, tend to thicken and turn to soap almost immediately. This scent that we're using for Salt Signature Fragrance is a really nice slow moving oil, so that's kind of also why we decided to do this one as a little demo for you today. If I had some wood, I'd knock on it. See how this goes. So we're just gonna give it a couple pulses with the immersion blender to kind of get everything incorporated. Just don't want to over mix because that's when it starts to thicken. And you can kind of see it's already very quickly starting to thicken up a little bit. So for Allie's, hopefully I have these buckets are gonna measure out correctly. I don't take great soap making notes when I make them, so every time I make a second, third, fourth batch, it's kind of, I gotta rely on my memory, which isn't the best.
B12. We're working
Yes,
on it.
I know, and I did not take my B12 today, but I think this is looking pretty good. So, get all that in there. Okay, so we're gonna put these two aside, and we're going to start with the bottom layer. So we're gonna add some of our blue, and we're gonna do 1 tablespoon in there. I'm gonna give it, let's move that out of the way. Give it a nice mix.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It is. This soap is just, I love this soap. It's really beautiful. She currently has this soap in stock, but this particular batch will be probably in her store in about a month. Once it's made, we'll cut it tomorrow, so y'all get to see what it looks like when we cut it. That's my personal favorite. But once it's cut, it sits on our curing racks for about 4 to 6 weeks. It'll get nice and hard, and it'll turn into like a really nice bar of soap. So we've mixed in our mica powder. We're gonna add about half of the fragrance. Keep mixing.
She sort of divided it up in not equal parts because of her specific design that we do for Allie's soap, which you'll see what we're talking about in a moment. But
yes, it's gonna be poured in two separate pours. So the bottom layer is gonna be this solid color blue. I am going to, I'll move these out of the way. I'm gonna stick blend this a little bit more. I wanna make sure all those little oils are melted and your colors are blended really well. But look at that, see how thick it's getting? This cord is driving me crazy. Look at that, creamy deliciousness.
skin food.
Okay, so we're just gonna pour it into our lined mold. Get my spatula.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It smells so good too.
It's so crazy how just in 24 hours it'll become a bar of soap.
Yep, exactly. Well, as you can see, it's already starting to harden up on us. So just give it a couple of taps. Now, the trick here is we definitely want this bottom layer to kind of harden up so that it's gonna hold the weight of the top layer and it's not going to pour through. So I'm just kind of doing this to kind of, for one, give the bottom layer just a little texture, but it's also kind of letting me know where it's at in terms of its thickness. See that? Love it. Okay, I think this is pretty good. We're gonna sprinkle it. We're gonna sprinkle it with our mica. So we have this beautiful gold. We're gonna create our mica line in the center, which if you've used Lather & Co. soaps before, then you have definitely seen this in your soap, and now you'll know how we do it. Aren't those colors so pretty together too?
Yes, please.
I love it, love it, love it. So we're just gently tapping this over the top. And try to get it to the ends, which is a little tricky, but okay.
Glitter in the air, I love it.
You gotta kind of blow it sometimes to get it to spread out evenly. But you definitely want like a nice, good coverage. You don't want it too thick where it's gonna make the soap separate between the layers, but you definitely wanna see a solid line. Just trying to get the ends here, which is always the hardest part. Okay, so that looks pretty good, I think. I'm gonna blow, so watch out, Jules.
This is why we always have glitter on us.
Yes, and why it's also important to wear goggles, because this is very fine mineral powders. Okay, so while that is going to continue to firm up, we're gonna prep our last two batches. So we're going to do the same color blue. We're just not going to add as much because we're using half the amount of batter. So we got our blue. We're gonna add some titanium dioxide, which is gonna make the soap white. Get my other whisk. Move that out of the way.
And this hasn't started getting as thick as the blue layer because we have not yet added the fragrance.
Yeah, we always do the fragrance. You kind of got to plan it out because as soon as you add the fragrance, Julia's right, it definitely activates a lot of times once it hits the oils, and will start to, for whatever reason, thicken it up like almost immediately. Although this is, you can tell it's getting there. So the top layer, we're doing a swirl technique called in the pot swirl, which is actually probably one of the easiest swirling techniques there is in soap making.
It makes it look like a beautiful marble.
Yes.
Love it. And it's already starting to get a little thicker, you can tell.
So I think you kind of want, it has to be the right consistency to actually swirl so that the colors don't bleed into each other. If it's too thin, then they get muddy. If it's too thick, then they don't swirl. So let's see. So you can tell over here, see how hard that got? Now I can kind of move this around. It's obviously not solid, but it's definitely hard enough that it's going to be able to hold the weight of this top layer. So I think I'm going to give both of these a quick pulse with the immersion blender. It's probably good. Do the weight. Okay, so here we go with the swirl. So we have our bucket. We're just going to rotate, or I should say alternate colors in pouring. Kind of want to just pour them in a little swirl.
That's so pretty. See what I mean by the marbling technique? Even still, and this is only the first part of the technique, but it just makes such a beautiful pattern.
Yeah,
Even
that's why
as
it's
is.
so easy to do.
Look at how gorgeous that is.
I'll just finish off the white. I think this is actually like a perfect consistency because it's blending well, pouring easily, but not getting muddy. Let's see, sorry.
You're good.
Since you have to work so quick, I don't worry too much about getting every last bit out of the buckets because we don't really have time to waste here. All right, and that's pretty much it for the swirling. We do have sometimes use chopsticks, which I'll show you. We can just kind of give it a little extra swirl, but honestly, I'm not even sure that's really necessary with this one. But that's all we're gonna do. And then we're gonna take the spatula and I'm going to, let's see, we're gonna pour it over the spatula so it kind of makes it hit the bottom layer a little bit softer. But see how those beautiful marbling colors are? There we go.
And you can see the texture of it getting thick too already.
I'm gonna switch hands.
Look at that. Doesn't it look like a beautiful piece of marble? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, this is a really pretty soap. All right, so we're almost done. Just gonna try to get as much of that out as I can.
Oh, and wait till you see it cut. That's the exciting part. You kind of have an idea of what it's gonna look like inside, but you don't really know until the next day. So it is kind of a waiting game. It's not for the patient.
It's definitely always a surprise. Okay, so we're just gonna give it a little tap. We wanna get out some air bubbles. You wanna make the top layer nice and flat. We're gonna take our spoon here and we're just gonna give the top a little bit of texture. There's all different ways you could make texture. You can use a fork and make stripes. But this tends to be my go-to.
It looks like little sea waves.
Yeah. I think it goes with her theme, think of the ocean and the salt and...
It's beautiful.
So, let's see. I love the look of wet soap. I must say. Okay, so basically that's it. We're just gonna dust it with a little more of the gold mica because in my opinion, everything needs a little dusting of gold.
I second that.
I just absolutely cannot leave a soap top bare. It has to get sprinkled with something pretty. That's how we do it here. The little extras. But I think that's good. What do you think? I don't want to go overboard. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard to stop. But I think that looks perfect.
Let's get a good zoom in on that. Oh my gosh, look at those beautiful colors. Ah, I can't wait for tomorrow.
So this is Allie's signature soap. Definitely check out her spa over on Easter Lily Lane. It's called Salt. It's a beautiful spa, mimics a salt cave, great for all kinds of respiratory issues and things. She can educate you all on that when you go in there and see her. But yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow for the cutting and the big reveal. But thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and had your questions answered of how we do it. There's lots of other techniques, so I don't know, maybe we'll try this again and do something a little different. But for now, we will see you all later, I guess tomorrow. So, okay, I guess, bye.
Bye.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Lather & Co. kitchen. As promised, we have our signature salt soap that we made for Allie over at the Salt Halo Therapy Spa.
It's beautiful.
Here we go. See how it's nice and hard. It's still a little bit soft, but definitely hard enough for us to cut. So we are gonna go ahead and do that now. So first we're gonna take, this is our log splitter. So this is just gonna cut the loaf right down the middle.
And the wire that's used there is kind of like a guitar string.
It is exactly a guitar string.
Soap coming at ya.
So there we go. There we go. Look at the inside. You can see
Look
the
at
mica
that.
line going through the middle and the nice
Oh, it's gorgy.
marbled top.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So now we have our two halves. Get this cutter out of the way. And then this is our, this one's gonna do the slices. So
Also a guitar string. You can kind of adjust the size, but everything's cut by hand.
we're gonna cut off the end piece.
It's beautiful.
And then, let's see, we'll cut a couple slices so you can see. This is definitely, if you're a soap maker, you know the excitement of cutting the soap because like we said before, you never know what you're gonna get. We have made this one quite a few times, so we had expectations of what it would look like on the inside, but super exciting.
Gorgeous.
There we go. We're just gonna weigh them, make sure I'm cutting them to the correct thickness.
And they do lose weight over time as they sit and cure. They have to sit for at least a month, sometimes longer, and that just sort of lets some of the excess water or liquid dry out of it. So, you know, we cut them a little heavier, and then over time, like I said, they lose weight to a nice hard cured bar of soap.
Allie, here's your soap. We'll have it ready in 6 weeks for you. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.